Johnny.
Yes, sir. Hey, Tommy.
You just happened to pop up on my screen.
I'm glad you guys could all join us for the Johnny Mallory reunion press conference.
He just happened to pop up in my life.
I'm also pleased that I can actually hear Mike Prater today.
You can hear me every day, dude.
I'm not talking about on the radio. I'm talking about in a Zoom call.
I very much look forward to this. Miss you guys. Right now, I feel like I'm talking to myself.
You felt that way for a long time.
Where do we change the view on here? I forget how this works.
If you put your cursor over anybody's picture, there will be a speaker
all I see
view.
Is you. All I see is a speaker view. Where's the other view?
Click on speaker view, and then it should give you some different options.
I'm not even seeing that. Oh well.
BJ's frozen on me, and
come on,
in your
BJ.
side, Nickel. Old BJ.
BJ, you hold up the Mountain West press conference because you can't find the mute button.
What a rook. Come on, BJ.
By the way, I totally texted BJ to find out how to get off mute.
So Hars, this is what happens before you get here. Everybody makes fun of each other, and here we go.
BJ's the problem.
I mean,
Shocker.
I guess so.
Technically.
All right. Does that mean we're canceled? Is that it?
Okay, so we're after 1 o'clock. We've got Hars here. I will record this for anybody that needs it. I'm going to mute all of your lines with the exception of mine and Hars. I will call on each of you individually. I will try to get to as many of you as I possibly can. If you have a question, feel free to shoot me a note in the chat. I am going to start with BJ. Then I am going to hit Tust. Hit me in the chat if you'd like to be added to this. We will start with Coach Harsin, and then we will open it up for questions. So I'm going to put it on speaker view right now, and I'm going to start recording. Hars, all you.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot more questions than answers that I have for you. So my statement's going to be pretty brief. We're excited to play. We have practice tomorrow. We've been doing some things prior to tomorrow's practice. We've been able to get in helmets and spider pads. We've continued to work out. I think our guys have been doing a phenomenal job of staying focused and trying to win the weight while this decision was going to be made. And I think everybody on the team is excited about there is now some clarity of what we're doing. Obviously, we're going to wait on the schedule. That's a big part of it, just who we're going to play. But we get a chance to get started. And so Saturday will be our first practice. It'll be much like fall camp as far as the acclimatization period, in helmets, shoulder pads, and then full pads. And obviously, camp will not be the same as what it would be in a fall because you have school now. There's 20 hours. Fall camp, normally there's no school. There's no hour rule. So you're there from sun up to sundown. And so we just have to do it a little bit differently. But as far as practice goes, preparation, it'll be more like a normal week that we would have leading into a game, other than we're going to have weekends that we can use to practice until we get into playing. But right now, I just say this. I think everybody on the staff, the team, we're excited from the news last night. I think everybody, when they got that, I sent out a Teamworks. Everybody was thumbs up, ready to roll. And so now it's just a matter of getting out there Saturday morning and getting back to practice and really getting ourselves back into that mode of we're preparing for a season. We're preparing for whatever that first game is going to be. And that's the focus. So when you have clarity, focus, and then also I think just that purpose of playing in a season, I think that changes the mindset, gets everybody excited and juiced up for what's about to happen. And I know from our coaching standpoint and player standpoint and everybody on the staff, today's been an awesome day in here. Just been a lot of juice and a lot of guys working. We've been preparing for so long, but you guys know how it is. You're preparing, but you still get into kind of a little bit of a scramble because now it's actually happening. So, and probably more of just an excitement, I should say. We'll have a staff meeting after this. We'll go through our first 2 days of practice. They've been planned out for a while now, but we'll go back through it again and be ready to go at 7:30 on Saturday morning, and away we go. So with that, questions?
Start with BJ Rains from the Idaho Press. BJ, you can go ahead and unmute your line.
Yeah, Bryan, we saw your statements on Twitter and stuff the last couple of days. When for you, I guess, did you think this might be possible? I don't know if it was the Big Ten's announcement or what, but when did you start to get excited that this might become a possibility, and what were the last couple of days and week like for you trying to find out information and find out if this was going to happen?
The Big Ten's announcement was a big deal. There needed to be some movement, right? So with the conferences that have postponed the season, the Mountain West hadn't made any moves at that point. The Pac-12 hadn't made any moves. There was a lot of talk about those leagues, and the Big Ten obviously being one of them that was possibly going to make a move. And I thought that was a positive for all of us when that happened, that they decided they're going to play. And I thought that really helped us in the Mountain West work towards making that decision. And following that, we had some momentum, got together just as coaches, and we had a call where, we all had our chance to try and talk about our issues, just open it up. And everybody's got different things they're dealing with as far as their teams. But we all felt like at the end, we all agreed that we do need to get started. It's not necessarily the best case scenario for every single team at that time, but getting started was better than not doing anything at all. And I thought after the Big Ten, after that conversation, and you could just feel the momentum with the Mountain West starting to build. But I really didn't know until last night at about 8 o'clock, whatever it was, when we got the official word that we were going to play, because you never know how this thing's going to go. The presidents were going to get together. The medical committee was getting together. We really didn't have any inside information on what was going to come out of that meeting. So it could have been October 24th, October 31st, November, not play at all. Until last night, I wasn't really quite confident that this was going to happen until we got the news last night and they let us know we're going to play October 24th, the date. But from the Big Ten's announcement, I think momentum started to build, and I thought that was a big part of why they made the decision they made last night.
You guys haven't tackled since you're tackling Washington in the bowl game. How ready are you in 29 days to play a game? Obviously, other teams are going to be in the same boat as you, but is this enough time here to get ready to play a game?
I think it is, but I don't know that answer, BJ. That's, we didn't tackle in the spring, and you got to think about those 15 practices that we missed. We got the 3. We've been able to do some summer access stuff. We've been able to do the spider pads and helmets, but that's not like putting pads on and going live and getting some work like that in. We normally have this period of time in fall camp to prepare, and we don't tackle. So we've done more football in the summertime than we've ever done as far as having the coaches out there and being involved with the players. So we've done more of that. And I think right now I can speak for the players and say it's time to put the pads on and go tackle somebody, because we've done enough walkthroughs. We've done enough of those individual periods. We've done enough of the one-on-one stuff. Now it's time to get out there and get 11 on 11 and get some live work in. And so our camp will be very similar to what it was as far as the images, the live work. And then we just have to obviously work through some of the challenges in order to make all those things happen. But we're not going to know the answer until we actually go out there and play. And we all saw when Navy played BYU, you saw what happened in that game. And I think for every coach that wasn't coach preparing at that time, you're looking at that going, you can see the fundamentals, you can see tackling, you can see all the little things that come up that I think everybody preaches show up in a game like that, good and bad. and, just makes you go back to what you believe in. And for us right now, it's the fundamentals. It's getting back into taking care of the football, tackling, doing the fundamentals that we need by each position to be successful. And we're going to get a chance to start doing that on Saturday. But I think our players are in a good position right now as far as the work we've been able to do. I think that's helped us. Now it's time to get out there and actually do it and get some real contact and start preparing ourselves to play.
A football question. We heard about Jordan Happel and Robert Mahon both entering the transfer portal. I don't know if you can just touch on those and if there's anybody else that's not going to be with you when you start tomorrow.
No. I think those two guys, transfers happen. We've taken transfers. So sometimes, that's part of college athletics. And we've had guys like Brock Miller come in and be a part of our program, Mason Sykes. And so both those guys wish them the best. And, they got a chance to continue their college career. And so, I hope they find good places to be able to do that. Obviously, they're Broncos. And, when guys leave, obviously you have to have other guys step up, and there'll be opportunities for future players to come into our program because of those numbers. But as far as other guys, I think I told you guys, I can't remember if I told you about Taquan Tyler, if you guys know about his injury. He had tore his Achilles in the summertime, so he's on the mend that way. So that's one of the season-ending injuries. But other than that, we're expecting to have our guys out there and ready to go.
Brian, I think Joe said I'm next, so I'm just going to go. Is that okay?
That's perfectly fine, because that was some awkward silence right there. I didn't know.
That was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I was frozen because I can see all you moving, but I've been on Zoom now long enough. If people stop moving, I know it's frozen. So.
If you go back to August, you mentioned that the Mountain West coaches often were talking with each other. You sent out a statement last week on your Twitter account that said the coaches had a good conversation. I'm just curious, who was heading up and maybe facilitating those coach gatherings, and how influential and helpful do you think they were in leading to the ultimate decision?
Well, the original conversations with all those coaches going back into August or even before that was through the Mountain West. And the one that we had, that was really the coaches. That was we had reached out to the coaches, kind of a group text, and just said, hey, we need to get on here and just have a conversation about where we all stand, and a real conversation. And so we were able to do that. We didn't have, Troy Calhoun wasn't able to be on there. I lost his name, UNLV.
Arroyo, right?
Arroyo, yeah.
Coach,
yeah. Arroyo wasn't on there. But we were able to just kind of lay out a few things from what the Big Ten, their decision, had really helped us with, kind of lay out some things. And just really that conversation was about getting on the same page. It was just making sure from a coach's standpoint, hey, if this October 31st at that time, that was the conversation. It wasn't really the 24th at that time. We had mentioned it, but the model we were given as option one was October 31st. And so, we just wanted to know, hey, does everybody feel like this October 31st model will work? Because if it didn't, then, and we had to come to an agreement that said, yes, we can do this, or we're going to work really hard to make this happen as coaches. Because at the end of the day, that's really where it falls on. It falls on the head coaches, it falls on the staff, it falls on the players. And it was a really good conversation. Everybody got to kind of just lay out what it is they're doing, where they stand, some of the things they were able to do up to that point. And that conversation wasn't about, hey, we're competing against each other. It was about, hey, we're on this. Let's all be together on this right here, and let's help each other out, because we want everybody in our league to have an opportunity to prepare to play. that was the goal behind the meeting. Can you? Do you feel good about this? Do we all agree that this would be a model that we could do? And we came out of that meeting, and it was everybody on there said, yes, we can. There were some that have obviously other issues than others, but I thought as far as just the coaches, that was a very productive meeting. Everybody was very professional. Everybody got to say what they needed to say. And we came out of that with, this is what, we need to be together on as far as any decisions that are made, because it was going to come back most likely on us too. You got to talk with your athletic directors. You got to talk with your presidents. Obviously, got to talk with the commissioner. And so we just wanted to be on the same page as coaches. And I thought everybody really was involved in that. And everybody had a great opinion and a perspective on it. And we had a productive meeting. And I do think that helped. I do think that helped as far as pushing this along, because if your coaches are fractured, I think it's going to be very difficult to come up with this decision if none of the coaches really agree on, yes, we can do this. So to me, I'm proud of the Mountain West head coaches to come together on this and just say, hey, this is what we feel like we can do. And we do believe this is important for the Mountain West, even if it's not the perfect thing for you and your program at the time, but you're going to have to figure it out and work through it. And we were able to come out of that. And there was it was really positive. And there was obviously a statement that I put out with that, because I thought that was important, just to say that, hey, we've met, we're together on this. We had an agreement coming out of this meeting. And so, that's one part of the decision process, right? Hey, the coaches, we feel like we can do this. All right, now we got to go to the other folks that are making the decisions.
Yeah. If you don't want to get specific, you don't have to, but that second meeting that came last week, was there somebody that sent out the Zoom invite or a specific coach or anything like that? Or
yeah, again, yes, but I think we were all involved. I'll just leave it at that, right? We were all involved, and I felt strongly about the momentum that the Big Ten had created, and I felt like that was something that we needed to really jump on, and so did everybody else. And I don't think that's just me. I think everybody felt that way, and so we actually missed. I was missing a run at that time. Other coaches were missing practices. Other coaches were still, not in the office at that time. We all made a sacrifice to come together to have that conversation. And we all felt like that was important. And that was, we obviously missed a couple guys, but that was a big part of, I think, everybody in the Mountain West just being able to say what they needed to say before a decision was made.
One more from me, and that's, I know we talked about transfers, but when it comes to this season, it's very unique. Have you had any guys opt out at this point? And then, moving forward, what are your biggest concerns now that you have, you've had 6 months to kind of let all this marinate a little bit?
No, as far as, the opting part, not at this point. Now, the reality of a season has never been there until now. So I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
Right. Biggest challenges, there's a lot. There's going to be a lot of challenges. I think this is going to be an opportunity for every single one of us, all right, everybody in our program, to really work through and solve a lot of problems that we normally don't face. And so just the challenge of playing football right now and being able to do it the right way. And I think the Mountain West has got that model, and obviously we've seen it because it's done. So I feel very confident about that. But there's going to be some challenges. And I also know too, at least for myself, it feels really good to be moving forward. It feels really good to be looking forward to the opportunities that we do have. And COVID is still, we know that it's still real. Nobody said it's not. And so we'll continue to take our precautions and things like that. But at the same time, we just can't put ourselves in a bunker and not do anything either. There's a way of doing it and moving forward and continuing on with the things that that are important and things that you do in your lives. And I think that goes for everybody. And so this is another step forward in that direction. But along the way, not just you asked me the question, there's a lot of other folks too that are working behind the scenes that aren't on this Zoom call right here that are making decisions and working extremely hard to make sure that we can do these things. The folks in our facilities, how we operate in our facilities, how we take care of things daily in our facilities. They're working tremendously hard to make sure that we're doing it safely and to the best of our ability. Our trainers, how they operate and the things they have to monitor and do every single day on top of the normal operating procedures that you have when you're getting ready to compete in Division I football every single season. Coaches, players, you name it. So I've been really proud of everybody in administration, everybody in our program, and how we've been able to operate and how we've come to this point right now makes me feel very good about the people that we have. And then also just excited about, what we're capable of doing moving forward. And in my opinion, everybody on this campus has stepped up. And sometimes you don't always get a chance to see that, but in moments like we've just had, it's really stood out. And so for all the people on campus, all the people involved in our program, I can't say enough about what they've done so far. And now we have even bigger challenges now that we're going to face as we move forward and start ramping up and getting ready to play. But I know from what I've seen, they're going to be able to handle it, and they're going to do a tremendous job of accomplishing whatever task is thrown at them, and that we're going to have ourselves ready to play October 24th. And our coaches and players will be ready, the staff and everything that we need to do to have this stadium or whatever is going to happen, or travel that we have to where we have to go or what we have to do is going to be done and done at a high standard. So to me, like that's the excitement right now. And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm just looking forward to tomorrow and getting out there and practicing and letting everybody that's involved be a part of that and just go out there and just have some fun and really enjoy it, because it's been a lot of hard work to get to this point.
Next up, Chad Kripe with the Idaho Statesman, followed by Mike Prater, KTIK.
Hars, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sure you've tracked what's gone on around the country. I think today we're up to 22 games now have been canceled. I wonder what your thought is on the 3-day testing versus the 7-day that the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are doing. Do you think it's enough? And how do you deal with this uncertainty week in and week out about whether you're even going to have a game?
Yeah, Chad, I don't really have the answers for you on the testing. I think the model now with the 3 days or more, other conferences are doing that. I kind of leave that up to the medical staffs if that's what they feel is necessary. I know that we've been doing our testing weekly, and half our team, we did the whole team, then half the team, and the other ways that we've been doing things. So I think that's gone well. I think the model that we have right now, we'll dive into that a little bit more. To be honest with you, I mean, I've got to get some more information on that to really answer that question, but I feel like they've got a good plan that way. The uncertainty of the season, yeah, we've seen that. And I mentioned that to our staff about the cancellations of games. And there's some things, like I said, I mean, this is a major challenge. And you're counting on your program to be doing things hopefully to the best of their ability, so you're able to go out there and play. You're counting on the other program that you're playing to do the same thing. And then the reality of it is it may not work. But then there's also the possibility that it does, and you get a chance to go out there and play. And it's Miami and Louisville. It's whatever, right? You're getting out there and you're able to compete. And I think that's the one thing to me, at least in my opinion. I think we're getting better. I know we've had the challenges early in the season with the cancellations, but I believe in the people that are making the decisions medically, and I think we're getting better. I think we will get better. I think this will continue to improve. And I'm hopeful, and I know hope's not a great plan, but I'm hopeful that, by the progress we make medically and particularly in the Mountain West, that we're not going to have those cancellations. and we're going to be able to have the games. And are you going to be without a guy here and there? Absolutely. So that becomes a big test of your football team, in my opinion, that everybody on your team needs to be ready to play. And so as a player, and even as a coach, you could lose a coach in there as well. You can't tune out. You've got to be locked in. You've got to know your assignment. You need to know roles. You may need to know several roles on the team. So if that becomes your role in the game because things change or you lose somebody through testing, then you're able to go out there and still play and compete. And I think as a player, that's going to bring a lot of focus to every single practice, every single week, every single meeting, of being completely locked in, because your opportunity might be there at the end of that week and you get a chance to go out there and play. And that's what everybody on the team wants to do. So as much as a challenge, I think it's also going to be a positive because of that, and give us a chance to, get our guys ready to go. And we're just talking about COVID, but also making sure our guys stay healthy physically and that they're prepared to go out there and play. So like I said, we need a lot of problem solvers is what we need. There's going to be issues. There's going to be problems, we need problem solvers. And I think this is going to be a great challenge for all of us as coaches and our players and everybody in our program to do that.
Obviously, one of the challenges for college football is the campus community, and we've seen the numbers go up a little bit on campus. Did you guys make any adjustments to schedules this year in terms of trying to get guys in online only classes, knowing this was coming, or are your guys mostly mixing with students in class, or what's the status there?
No, we didn't purposely try to do any online, and we really, I was hoping they could be in class. I think that's a better learning environment, in my opinion. And some of them were, and then some of those classes got moved to online. And so I think quite a few of our guys are on the online classes right now. Now they still have them during certain periods of the day, so they still have to be there for that class. But we didn't do anything on purpose that way. I think it just naturally changed over the last, course of the month or 4 weeks, whatever, 5 weeks. And it's naturally kind of worked itself out that way. But as far as on campus, I know this. We obviously have our policies on campus. Our players are aware of that. We have the policies and things that we have to follow in the football complex. And at the end of the day, it really comes down to, you've got to be able to control your own little bubble first, right? You've got to be able to control that. And in our program, that's a big part of it. You got to control what you can, and that's part of your bubble. And then there's going to be some things that are out of our control, and we just need to be aware of that so that we do avoid certain situations and try not to put ourselves in a position where we're not able to come in here and then ultimately compete and play. So and I don't think that's going to change. I think that's just some awareness is what it comes down to. And for our students as well, I think I haven't been on campus. I haven't been walking around campus and anything like that. But, I certainly know that it's a challenge. My daughter's a freshman at Boise State, so she's in Sawtooth dorms. And so I get a little different perspective from her on just being a student and the challenges that she's facing and then other students on campus. And so I'm aware of that. And I feel for those students. This is a difficult time, but I really think that these challenges, we're going to get through this and we will get back to normal and they will have an experience. But, this is a huge test for a lot of our students, certainly for our football players and our student athletes. And, that's part of it. But I do feel like the progress of having a season put together and a chance to go play is also going to help that, in my opinion, because I think everybody, when they're excited about something, they have something to look forward to, then you're going to do things differently in order to be there, to be a part of it. And, I feel like that's no different for our students on campus, and what their mindset's going to be. So a lot of challenges. Campus has been doing a good job from what I understand. And President Tromp, and her team. They're operating the university. We're kind of in our little small world right here and just trying to operate football and take care of what we can. And all the other coaches on campus that have their teams, they're managing what they have to manage with their groups. So, it's a total team effort. That's what it comes down to. We all have to be in this thing together and understand that, what we do is going to impact a lot of things. And so we got to be responsible and accountable for our actions. And, that's a big part of it. And so I think our community at Boise State is strong, and I believe the students are a part of that. And we're going to keep promoting that. And I think football is going to help it.
There's such a strong connection between this program and the community and what you guys have built, particularly at home. It sounds like you're not going to be able to have fans, at least unless something changes with the stage 3 that we're in Ada County. How hard and weird is this going to be for you guys to play football sort of divorced from that fan experience and the energy and the excitement and all of that comes around college football? Yeah,
I don't know. The best example was Bill Belichick when they asked him, how did that feel to go out there and play in front of no fans? And he said, practice. That was probably the best answer I've heard. I've talked to a couple other coaches. They've had fans at their games, but they said it was different. I mean, their exact words were, hey, it was weird, which is probably the best way to describe how it's going to be. It's going to be weird. It's going to be different. I don't know if we need to be like the Philadelphia Eagles, and if our quarterback misses a throw, that we have a sound that boos our own team or something like that. But it's going to be different. And I think we won't know that until we actually go out there and do it. But we've seen what's happened in these other games now for several weeks. And so as coaches and players, what's coming. You've watched other games be played without any fans. You've seen some games played with just a few fans. So I think everybody knows that's coming, but no one's going to really know what that environment feels like until they actually get in it. And we're going to have to bring our own energy. We're going to have to be cheering on the sideline. We're going to have to be together. And, I've been at my son's high school games, and parents are able to sit at the games and all that. And, the teams have got to be fired up for each other, and they got to be on the sideline and kind of be in the noise. And so it's possible. We're just going to have to figure out a way to do a really good job of that, of bringing some energy to the game without having the fans there. But our players and coaches understand that that's part of the environment that we're going to be in. And I hope that changes. I hope over the course of time that we're going to be able to have fans and to have people come to the games and be able to watch their kids play or be able to watch our guys and their team go out there and compete. But I don't know the answer to that. I hope that happens, but if not, then we got to be ready for that type of environment.
Mike Prater with KTIK.
Hey, Coach. I want to ask you about the schedule. More importantly, I wanted to ask you how proactive that you feel like you need to be in terms of making sure that it's done right, making sure that it's done transparent. It sounds like there's going to be some awkwardness at the end of the season in terms of percentages and who's going to host and who's going to play how many games and who's going to play how many conference games. So how do you want the transparent process to go? How involved will you be, and how concerned are you about the timing of it? Do you need it tomorrow? Do you need it in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I'd like to schedule yesterday, to be honest with you, just so we know who we're playing. But I don't know, Mike. I really don't know as far as who's setting this up. I know that the league is. I was asking about it today. Hey, do we have any idea what it's going to look like? I'm asking about who we're going to play first. That's what I want to know. Who's the first game? And nothing right now. So I think over the weekend, I'll have a chance to kind of dig into that a little bit and I'm sure we're going to get some information today or tomorrow as far as when it's coming out. Nobody's sent anything to me saying, hey, we'll have the schedule for you by Monday or the schedule by, Sunday night, whatever. So to be honest with you, I haven't really been pressing on that at all today because they just made a big decision. I thought they made the right decision. I'm excited for the Mountain West, and now we know we're going to play. And now the next step is, all right, guys, put this together, and it's not going to be perfect. That was the other part of the conversation with our coaches that we had talked about too. Like, we know it's not going to be in somebody's favor. Like, we already know that. We know that, hey, we might have a neutral site game. We might have maybe not play here like you planned, having all your home games. You know, that was part of it. I mean, that was very real in that conversation. Like, it may not work out perfectly for you, but hey, we still agree that we need to move forward. And that all sounds good when you're on a call like that. And until you get the actual schedule, you're going to be looking at it. And at the end of the day, they got to make a decision. We're going to get that schedule and we're going to go, all right, this is what we're doing. And if we're on the road for 4 games in a row, I have no idea what that looks like. But if that's the case, then that's our plan and we'll start preparing for it. And there'll be some pushback. There'll be conversations. There'll be, hey, can we shift some things around? And there might be a little bit of movement when somebody throws out another idea because they see it differently. And then we go from there. But at the end of the day, you know, we still got to agree that, hey, this is what we're doing. They're working hard to put a schedule together. The coaches, I can speak for myself, we're not involved in that. So when it gets put out, there's probably going to be a few complaints or somebody happy about something. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, this is what you got. Go play.
Do you want to play BYU? And is it important for you to play the most high-profile, toughest schedule you can so you can chase the end result that you want at the end of the season?
Well, I think that's always our plan, right? When we put our normal schedules together and all that. The BYU game, so I really heard about that today, and I know that's ongoing. Like, I don't know all the conversations and where we stand with that at this point. So I'm just going to kind of wait on that, and we'll have an answer for you when I get some more information on really what we're doing in the Mountain West and how that's going to affect us and in a championship game before we do anything else. And so I don't really have an answer for you until I know what the Mountain West is thinking and how that would affect having a chance to play in that championship game before we decide anything.
I'm good, Joe.
I'm Bob Beeler with the Bronco Radio Network.
Coach, have you talked to any coaches that have been playing or watched any games and learned something that you think maybe will give you a key to having a successful season with all these issues?
Yeah, I've talked. Hold on a sec here. All right. Wrong pipe. Yeah, I talked to a couple coaches that played early, and that I told you the comment was just, this was weird. And some of the guys they had out of the game, so they had to, you know, make some adjustments late in practice, those type of things. So just being prepared for that. I think the game that stood out, the Navy game, was one, just watching it and just listening to the commentators talk about how they prepared and under the conditions they had to prepare. That's been something I've talked about for a while. Like, I think you have to prepare your team to go out there and play like you know how. And after that game was over, obviously BYU got after Navy, and then Coach Niamatalo'u was saying after that game, like, hey, we got to get back to preparing the way that we prepare. And so I thought that was a really valid point, that, you know, you've got to tackle, you've got to do these things, you've got to get yourself ready to go out there and play the game at the level it needs to be played. And so that just verified what, you know, I'd been thinking leading into whatever fall camp we were going to be able to have, is like, we still need to be able to practice the way we need to practice. And that was a lot of the conversations, several months ago at the Mountain West, is like, hey, listen, the schedule, we'll figure all that out. Who we play, where we play, all that. How do we prepare? That was the most important thing, right? We need to lift our guys. We need to run. I mean, you got to physically get prepared to play. And then just the mental part of it, and the practices, the situations, all the things that come up, you know, that's what gets you ready to go out there and play the game. And if you're not doing that properly, then you're going to struggle. And I thought that one really hit me. I was sitting at home watching it. I'm like, okay, that's exactly what, you know, you don't want to have happen, is to feel like you're unprepared. And he basically said that. And I don't fault any of those coaches. It's just a learning experience for everybody. And he happened to be one of the first ones to go through it. And the rest of us get a chance to sit back and learn from others and listen to them. And so as we talked about our plans of how we want to do things, it still comes back to a lot of how we've already done things. There's going to be a few little tweaks here and there. We know we're going to have to make some adjustments, but at the same time, you don't want to get too far away from the model that you believe in and that's worked for you, so you can go out there and be successful.
Coach, is it feasible on a Monday or a Tuesday if the league says school X can't play in one game and school Y can't play in another game, that they change an opponent the week of the game?
Good question. I have no idea. No. I mean, my initial reaction would be no. And I think that would be difficult. Your preparation, because you really, if you want to back it up, your GAs and QCs are starting on the next opponent, and they've already done the pre-scouting, right? But they're starting on it the Thursday of the previous week, right? So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Sunday night, you're getting this presentation on the next opponent. And they've been working on that and breaking down their games, all right, all through the weekend, and they're ready for that. If you change that on a Monday night, your preparation time to try to turn around and get that information to your team on a Tuesday morning, that would be very hard on the staff. Now, I think if you were a player, I think players would be like, whoever, right? And they don't really probably take into consideration all the prep from the coach's standpoint, but also, our players that have been doing this would be like, well, I'd missed that film Sunday and Monday to really get going. So I think that would be hard to do that. I don't know if that's happened. That hasn't happened to anybody.
No.
Okay. So if it has, I was going to reach out to that coach and ask him that question, like, how did you handle that? Might be able to give you a better answer, but I haven't seen that yet. I think it'd be very difficult to do.
Thanks.
All right, we got time for a couple more. So I'm going to take one from Johnny Mallory with KTIK and then one with Rick Worthington from KBOI. Johnny, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, having, been a member of this community growing up here, even before you were coaching, obviously, and the pride and kind of the unity that Bronco football brings in this valley. Talk about a little bit just the overall importance you feel for this community to get Boise State football back.
Well, I think it's huge. I think this community, this program, we're all connected. And Boise State football, in the last 20 years especially, we've had a lot of success. And, I think a big part of that, in my experience of being a part of this program since 95, is because of our fans, because of this community. And I know this as the head coach, the reason why players come to Boise State, a big reason is because of this community. And I know that because the parents are the ones that encourage their sons to choose Boise State because of this community. There's a lot of other programs out there. They got a lot of things that we do. They got weight rooms. They got great facilities. They got stadiums and all those things like that. But a big part of our success in recruiting is this community. And our players under normal times are out in the community and are involved, all right, a lot of times. And they're doing that because they want to. They're doing that because that's part of what we believe our community gives us. So we want to give back. When they show up here and we've got 35,000+ people in the stands and they're cheering our players on down there, our guys feel that. And I've said it, my job is very easy when this place is packed and we run out there and somebody's holding the hammer and this place is rocking. Our guys, that's exactly why they came here, to play in front of a crowd and to play in front of people like that. And our fans have been phenomenal. And so I think Boise State football, for this community in particular, at least I've had more opportunities now to kind of talk to people in the community and be able to hear their opinions on our program and wanting to get back and wanting to see us play and wanting to have Boise State football again. I feel that now. To me, this has given me an opportunity, not having to focus on fall camp for a while and getting a chance to talk to several folks, just how important football is around here. And I think for right now, especially, in this time for our players and just getting back and just having this team and this environment and some success and some positivity is huge for everybody. I think everybody feeds off of that. And if we can hopefully provide that through football, I think that's going to be a huge part of our community continuing to move forward and for positive things to happen in this community. And I take a lot of pride in that, being a part of this program and also being a guy that's been here a long time and I know what this place can do. So, and I hope that's why, Chad asked about fans. I hope that we're going to be able to have fans here. I know if we're not going to have a packed stadium, but to have people here and to be a part of it, when they leave, I hope they have an experience and they're able to share that with friends and family. And that brings some positivity to their lives. And Boise State football is, hopefully we're having a lot of success and people are proud of that. And I think that can mean a lot for the things that we want to accomplish and what we're trying to do in this community. And this place, I'll just say this, this community is special. I've been here a long time. It's been special for a long time. It needs to stay that way. Obviously it's very popular and people want to be here. There's a reason why, because we have a good thing here. We need to continue to keep that and to continue for it to be a good thing here, because Boise is a special place. I've been other places. Our coaches have been other places. There's opportunities at different places and all that. But why do you come to Boise? Why do you want to be a part of it? Because it's a special place and it needs to stay that way. And if we can help in some way continue that with Boise State football, then that's important to all of us.
One final question from Rick Worthington.
Hi, Coach. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you. So, football question. I'm wondering about the repetitions and trying to get more people ready, because I know the nightmare scenario is day before game, you find out somebody's sick and can't go. How important is it to get more guys, more repetitions in practice? Talk to us about preparation.
Yeah, huge. Yeah, we've talked about that. Fortunately, we've kind of built that into how we teach, even under normal times where we're trying to, we call it kind of shadowing a guy. So you're not just standing there. We might have 22 guys out there in a walkthrough. So a guy's still getting that rep and being able to physically go through it. But as a player, we can do those type of things. But as a player, you got to stay completely mentally focused on the task at hand that day. So in the meetings, and a great example, in our bowl game that we had, Achillian Butler had an injury in that game. And then Steph Cobbs had not gotten a lot of physical reps that week in practice, but he had stayed prepared. He had done some physical reps on his own after practice, working on some things that he didn't get a rep that particular day in team. And then, there was an injury and he was able to come in that game and step up and do his assignments. All right. At a pretty high level. And so you look at it a little bit like injuries. You're going to have injuries. There's going to be times where guys are out and somebody comes in and fills in for that guy or stays in and plays. No different. And it might not happen on Saturday like it usually does, right? You have your starter in there and something happens and they come out and the next guy goes in. This might happen on a Thursday. This might happen on a Friday. Now, the one advantage of that is the coach has a little bit more time now to really, if there's something that we're missing, try to catch that guy up very quickly. But if that particular player hasn't paid attention or we've done a poor job of coaching and developing that player that's a backup and you're scrambling on a Friday, you're going to be in trouble. And so our coaches know, it's going to be a lot more difficult to prepare our guys and the focus that we're going to have. We actually talked about this the other day, just all the little things that we're going to have to be doing to make sure that every single guy in that room is prepared. the best he can be. And if he's not getting the physical, where is he going to get him at? Is it before, after? There's going to have to be some times in there that they go and they take some of those reps, even if it's on a sled or on air. So they're repping it physically, and then mentally you're just quizzing them, asking them questions, making sure that they stay in tune with what we're doing that week. And I think the players knowing that, you don't usually think about that on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday. You're kind of thinking about that as that game starts to get closer on Saturday, like, hey, if I'm going to get my chance, something might happen here, I'll go in, because it's probably not going to happen in practice, hopefully. But in this case, it could be completely different. Wednesday night, you're in one position. Thursday morning, you're in another. And I think everybody on the team knows, hey, we don't want to lower that standard. We want to continue with the standard that we have. So you need to be ready to step up and play. And that's going to give guys opportunities too. If you're not in that starting role and unfortunately a guy's not there, you get your chance. This is another way to do that. You get your chance to go out there and make an impact, and you do, then it's like John Ojukwu in that Nevada game in 2017. He got a chance to get in the game, and from that point on, he never left. And so those guys, they need to stay ready. And we say it all the time, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that's the mindset. And that's really kind of been the mindset through this whole COVID situation up to this point. Just stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And right now, I hope we stayed ready, and we'll find out if we are. We have practice tomorrow.
All right, guys. Hey, I appreciate the time, Hars. I know a few guys had some follow-ups. I'm sorry we're out of time, but we're dialing up the schedule for the rest of camp. I'll be sending an email shortly regarding this first week, both practice schedule, media availability, and I know there's a lot of additional questions, so I just appreciate all of your guys' patience. So thanks, Hars. Thank you all, and I'll send the recording to everybody who asked for it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Go Broncos. See ya.
Thank you, Brian.
Listen, Joe.